Okay, I'm going to ask you some questions. You don't need to respond or stick your hand up, but maybe just to think about what you would say for your answer, okay? So what would you prefer? I'm going to give you 4 options. I think there's 4. Yeah, 4, yeah. Okay, what would you say? What would you prefer? What would you prefer? Would you prefer to come into, say, this cathedral, and there's maybe about 20 people in the church, and so, you know, a lot of space, and maybe you can't really hear one another, and the music's okay. So there's that option. And the preaching's okay. Would you prefer, perhaps, maybe to come into a church that's this full, perhaps? This is just perfect. You like this. This is good. I like this. So the music's good. I hope the music's good. The preaching's okay. Don't know about the priest. And there's about this many people. That's the second option. Would you prefer it to, when you come here, to be actually quite full? To have a good number of people, maybe the response has been quite, quite audible, the music being good, the preaching being good. Option 3. Would you prefer to come into this church and it's actually full? So there's some places spare, but there's a lot of people. And actually, as you walk in, you're walking in and you're saying, oh, there's John. I like John. I've met John a good number of times. We've had some good chats. And you're walking into a place where you know people. And your friends are here. And the music's excellent. And the preaching's excellent. Which would you prefer to go into? It could be a combination of those. It could be a combination. Obviously, I would love it to be the last. I would love this place to be packed. Really, and I would love it if when you're walking to the church, this is what I would love it if you, as you're walking to the church, you see somebody standing outside and you say, there's John. It's good to see John again. I haven't seen John, or maybe I saw John last week, we had a good chat, and it's great to meet. As you walk in, there's Frank and Janie and Jeannie, and I would love it if it was actually difficult to keep this place quiet before Mass. I'd prefer it if it was quiet just before Mass, but I'd love it if it was actually difficult because people knew each other and were excited to see each other when they got here. I would love it that when people responded, Amen, it's like an Amen. And the music was solid, uplifting, and most of it was coming from you. And it was just raising the roof. I would love that. That for me is joy. And when I said Amen during a homily, I'd get a big Amen right back. That would be fantastic. I would love that. I find it it dulls my soul preaching to a congregation, and this is not you, I enjoy preaching to you guys, but I've preached many times at Masses where there's been zero response. I preach, and folk are looking elsewhere, and it's just like stone. I'm preaching to rocks. There's no response. And when I say the Lord be with you, there's and hardly any response. And maybe when the music's not so great, that dulls my spirit. I can leave Mass and think, I don't want to come back here Send me to another church, you know. I don't know how about you feel about that, you know, but as a priest, I can come to Mass and not want to come back. It's soul destroying. It is. It is. I don't know if you knew that priests could feel like that, but we do. We do. What other things that I'm saddened when I see people come to Mass and there's no connection, there's no conversation, in the sense of nobody knows each other. It's kind of dead, tumbleweed flowing through the church. That kind of is I find that sad. I get annoyed when people who have jobs in the church start bossing folk around. That annoys me. That upsets me. I get angry when somebody who has a position speaks really abruptly and not too nice to parishioners. You know, especially if I see somebody who's new coming into the church and nobody speaks to them, and the first word they get is from somebody is kind of dismissive, you're in my seat, that sort of stuff. That grieves me. I get angry. I get really angry when that happens. Why do I get angry? Because I care about what happens to that person, to the people who come into the door. I want the people who come into that door to come into an experience of being loved, of family and friendship. I want them to have a good experience when they come here, and when they don't, that upsets me. I care about stuff like that. I care about I care about the music. These guys know I care about the music. I give them a hard time sometimes. You know, I care about the readings, how well they're sung. I care about the homilies, and when I've given a bad homily, I care about that because I go away feeling really, really naff and thinking, that was so badly prepared, that was not very good homily. And I go away feeling bad about myself because I want you to be fed. I want you to come away thinking, I needed that. That helped me. That's what I want for you to experience. What I love is when we're not really this is why I find this pandemic so frustrating. Usually before the pandemic, when people are just at the back of the church after Mass, milling about and having a chat. They met all their friends and they're just talking. I love that. I love that. I like that when people just, they're here and they're with their friends. What brings me joy, what brings me joy? Really, really, I love when there are folk talking and it's folk from the parish just engaging and having a nice chat with somebody who's new. Somebody who's new in the parish, and I know they don't know each other, and yet they're just talking. For me, that is beautiful. It's a bit like what we had the hospitality last week, and I thought that was fantastic because there was a bunch of people sitting around the table, and I knew they didn't know each other, and they were just chatting, and it was lovely. I care about that. I care about that. Why do I care about that? Father, why are you bothered? That's kind of peripheral stuff, isn't it? Why do I care about that? I care. Why do I care about that? There's a long string. It goes all the way up. I want people to come in here and feel loved. I want people to come in here and feel wanted. I want people to come in here and feel as if they belong, that this is my place. This is my family. I want people to experience that. I want them to fall in love with you. I want them to fall in love with you because just maybe if they fall in love with you, they might fall in love with him. And that's what I really want. I want them to fall in love with him, with Jesus. And that's really hard if they don't fall in love with you. And I want them to fall in love with you so they can fall in love with them. I care about that stuff. That's why I became a priest. I care. It's important to me. Really, really important to me. And so I go through grief when it doesn't happen. I go through frustration when it's hard to make that happen. And that's okay. Because if it's important, it's worth going through the grief. And you know that in your own lives. Stuff that's important, you're willing to suffer for. You're willing to put up with a lot of stuff if it's important. And it's the same with God. He just loves you to bits. He loves his people to bits. You are important to him. What happens to you is important to him. In the first reading, we've got Amos. The people of Israel were important to him. He cared about what happened. He showed Amos a picture of what was going to happen, this train that was traveling on a track, and the direction it was heading was train crash. And he sent Amos to try to get them to change direction, to change track. And he told Amos, by the way, they won't listen. But he sent them anyway. He cared enough that he became one of us because he wanted for us to know that we are loved by God. Not judged, not condemned, but loved. He wanted us to know. And he was willing to put up with anything if he could achieve that. Even death on a cross. And so he went, and he went out, and he spoke, and he healed, and he worked miracles so that people could experience that. But the problem with Jesus, there's a big problem with Jesus. Did you know there's a problem with Jesus? There's a problem with, when he was walking around 2,000 years ago, there's a problem with him. There was only one of him. There was only one. He could only be one place at one time. And so to fix that problem, he called his disciples and he sent them out so that they could represent him. I have a problem. Every new person, if you're new, Greg, where are you? Sorry, I know there's Greg here. Greg, welcome. I would love to have met you at the door and shown you to your place and had a wee chat with you. I would love to, after Mass, to have a good chat with you. In fact, any new person, I would just love to spend lots of time with people who are new in the parish. That, if anybody knows me, I actually like to do that. And it frustrates me that I cannot. I'm chatting with somebody outside, and I'm enjoying having a chat with somebody. I'm seeing somebody else leaving, and so I'd love to have a chat with them. They're new, but they're gone, and they're gone before I can say hello or anything. It frustrates me. I can't do it. I want to, but I can't. Not by myself. I need you. I care about what you experience here, and I need you to care about what others experience here. I want you to care about what I care about. I want you to care about those other people that come in here. I really do. It matters. I want you to care that they have a good experience when they come here. I want you to care that somebody who's new in here, coming into this church, actually has a good experience. I want that to be important to you. I want you to care so much that you do something about it, even if it costs you. To say hello, to ask a name, to introduce yourself, whatever. Because whatever you do might change that person's life forever. And I mean forever. You could be the start, the little push that gets the ball rolling. And it doesn't take much. A smile. Hi. How are you? What's your name? Where are you from? Just little things, but just hi and a smile. It's important. It's important to me because I know it's important to him. And I want it to be important for you too. Because it's important to them forever.